In today's episode, we're going to be talking about the elephant in the room, long term friendships, so many memories, but it's clear that you're no longer on the same path. You have outgrown them. You know this fact, but you're finding it very difficult to navigate with them and very difficult to accept it because you don't want to look like a betrayer or something like that. In this episode, we're going to be talking about coming out of, navigating, or repurposing friendships that you have clearly outgrown. Now, the first thing I want to get out of the way is that outgrowing your friendship is not what happens when you now make more money and you just feel like you need a change in status because this person doesn't fit you anymore. Don't be ridiculous. That's not what I'm talking about. Unless this person cannot fully accept your new status, mocks you, ridicules you, makes the situation awkward between you and them, whether publicly or privately, so that it's very obvious that if you're going to have to be around them, you're going to have to feel shame about your new status. Then in that case, it's clearly time to go. We already made it clear in the last episode that if your friend is not able to stomach your new status without beating themselves up or making you feel bad, they're not friends anymore. And it's time to let that birdie fly. So you've been best friends with this person since you were 4. You've had lots of memories together and it looks good on the gram when you go 20 years strong, 25 years strong, or maybe 10 years strong. But you know that life has happened and change has entered the chat. You now see things differently. You now question the things that you used to believe in such a way that is radicalizing your life for the better, hopefully. Now your friend or your friend group is reading your enlightenment as pride or as straying away or, oh, you think you're better than us now, aren't you? I'm going to hold your hands and say this to you. You know what has happened. You have outgrown that friendship. If you haven't subscribed yet, this is a good time to subscribe because I put out videos every week on life and faith and things that would definitely set you on the right path on your journey of purpose. Now, one fact we need to get out of the way is that growth and change are constant in life. And with growth comes tension. That's a fact. The more you know, the wider the knowledge gap in your relationships, in this case, in your friendships, would be. And the wider the knowledge gap, the harder the wedge drives in between the both of you, pulling you both further apart. Now, that's the reason why we're encouraged to keep learning, never stop learning, be relevant, develop yourself, because it's very easy to abandon yourself and be completely left behind. But that's story for another day. Let's come back to you. You used to be that friend that was known for one thing: pastor, jokester, whatever it is. At that time, people called you that, and you never really looked inward to see that there was more to your life than this label that has just been pasted on your forehead. Now, nobody saw it, but you've had this experience that has opened your eyes. You had probably an encounter, an awakening. Maybe you met someone that spoke to something else that was inside of you and you realized, I can do this, I can do that, I can do this as well. I'm more than what everybody hitherto in my life has perceived me to be. Then you begin to take steps in the direction of who you can be. But your old friends don't want that. To them, you've changed. So they try to speak to and appeal to the version of you that no longer exists. You've moved on from it, but they have refused to move on. Because with a new version of you would come a new set of habits. Now, instead of them to be inspired to improve on themselves, it's just more comfortable to stay where they are and shame you for where you are so that you can reverse and you can do the opposite of a software update. If you have friends that belittle, discourage your new habits, you know what time it is. If it's awkward, difficult, or shameful to practice your new habits or appear as the new higher version of yourself that you are trying to embrace in the presence of your friends, it's difficult to do that. You're ashamed of doing that. You already know what time it is. Ask yourself this question and answer yourself. Is time the only thing I share in common with this person? We've known from high school. We've known since we were in kindergarten. The Bible asks in Amos chapter 3 verse 3, can two walk together except they be agreed? Do you realize that there's no answer in that verse? It's up to you to answer. And the answer is no. So instead of you to remain in that relationship because it's 19 years, 20 years, and every time you post your pictures on Instagram and do your anniversary, everybody's oohing and ahhing about it. And you feel, oh, I don't want to destroy this beautiful thing. Listen, there's no need, like we said in the last episode, to be friends with someone just because it's good branding. Unfortunately, we have many relationships and even marriages that are just good branding, and that's why they're together. And I wish we could be more discerning in this generation to learn that it's not how far, but how well. You're probably asking yourself, how do I just end a relationship like that after so many years, even if we have nothing else in common? I'm going to ask you the same question. What's the point of continuing on a bus ride when you arrive at your bus station and you know you should get off? But because your friend is on the bus, you don't want to leave it, or you got on the bus together and you've shared lots of memories, and now it's time for you to get up. But I don't know how we will feel. We've spent so long together, so many good moments together, and I can't just walk away from it. Well, I need you to know that what's ahead of you is greater, is better, is higher than whatever it is that's behind you. So, in the same way you would not love your friend so much and continue on the train or a bus ride that goes hours and hours away from your stop, that's the same way you shouldn't continue hanging on to a friendship or a relationship just because of time, even if you know it's draining life out of you. Now, I saw this question somewhere and it made me really think, and I'll share that with you. Ask yourself this question: if I only met this person today and I just had an interaction with them today, would I want them to be my friend? If the answer is no, you already know what time it is. I empathize with you. This is going to be a very difficult decision and action to actually carry out. But it's important that you not be sentimental about your life. Outgrowing people does not make you disloyal. It just means you've listened to the rhythms of your soul. And what kind of life would you be living anyway if you're pleasing people at the expense of the prosperity of your soul? Doesn't make sense. The shoes were once the perfect fit. Doesn't fit anymore. Do you suffer in silence or do you just take it off? You can't walk in it. You can't make progress in it. You're in pain, but you don't want to take it off. You have to make up your mind today on what you're going to do. And I'm going to help you through it. Personally, I believe in quiet quitting a friendship or a relationship when it has become toxic, as long as it's not a covenant relationship like marriage. Don't quiet quit on your marriage, and don't say Jane said that to you. I'm talking about friends and friendships, right? Quiet quitting might look like you used to talk very heavily, maybe every day. You could turn it down to every other day, and then turn it down to 3 times a week, and then turn it down to the weekends, slowly and surely, like that, until things naturally wind down. If they come to you to ask, hey, what's going on? What's the meaning of this? Oh, no, I've just gotten really busy. Talk about your new habits. So, this thing I've started doing, it takes a lot of my time. And, I'm trying to prioritize this in my life right now, yada, yada, yada. And so that's why I've been really, really busy and all of that. They'll either take the initiative and come up to frequency, or they'll just go, so you're putting your new friends or your new da-da-da over me. Yeah, if they see it like that, well, I'm glad that they began to read the room. So quit quietly. I'm going to read through my notes now. No need for announcements. No need for long emotional debates. Just slowly and steadily create that distance. And every time the thought comes to you and you're struggling to actually quiet quit, I need you to know that the version of you that these people were friends with is the version of you that no longer exists. And it's not your fault. It's like a cocoon, a butterfly in a larvae, in a larvae form, becoming guilty for transforming into an actual beautiful butterfly with wings. And then the cocoons say, oh, you've changed. Oh, yeah, I grew. I'm sorry, but I grew. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry, actually. But I grew. And never regret your growth, my dear friends. Never do that. Never do that. There's so much on the inside of you. God calls you the light of the world, the city that's set on a hill. So never apologize for taking up space and for growing in grace and in the capacity that God has deposited on the inside of you. Nobody is worth your growth and development. Now, when we talk of repurposing friendships, it's quite difficult with friends that you have outgrown because it will become too obvious. Well, you might want to try it and see if it works. Maybe you just move them from maybe my friends to just one of my siblings. You know how you never really outgrow your siblings, right? They're always going to be in your corner no matter what. And that's the reason why we pray that everybody does great with their lives so that nobody is a clog in the wheel of anybody's progress, because no matter what, you're only as strong as your weakest links when it comes to family, right? But if you try to repurpose your friendships, move it around, move her from the bedroom to maybe the living room area, and she doesn't agree, she revolts to it, and she becomes troublesome, or they become troublesome, they become difficult, they begin to protest and argue. Yeah, that will be your cue to walk away. It will be difficult. Friendship breakups are really difficult. We'll talk about this some other time. But that's your cue to leave. There's nothing you can do. You can't keep yourself in the cocoon when it's time to spread your wings and fly. The big takeaway from this video will be that maturity does not require permission. You don't need permission from anybody, no matter how long they've been in your lives, to grow. And if growing means that the relationship has to come to an abrupt end it. I know people who refuse to accept the fact that they had overgrown or outgrown their relationships and they paid for it dearly. I'm not one to give very personal stories of other people, so I'm just going to leave it at that. Let me know if you can relate to this in the chat box. How did you know that you had come to the end of that relationship? And what did you do about it? What happened that made you realize, wait a minute, this relationship, its friendship is over. It's not what it used to be, and there's no need. Let's chat. Let's have a conversation in the chat box. Comment section. Let's have a conversation in the comment section about this. Next week, we're going to be talking about how to be a better friend. And that's the end of the series. We'll probably have a part 2 sometime if you love it. And if you want me to do that, like a part 2, friendship series part 2, because there's so many things to cover that I couldn't cover within 4 episodes. But let me know if you want a part 2 some other time. If you have any questions, you already know what to do. If you haven't subscribed, you're wrong. I mean, you've stayed up until this point and you've enjoyed it, haven't you? Just hit the subscribe button, okay? Until next week, don't forget, if growth creates distance, then it's great, okay? Until next week, have a wonderful rest of the day. Toodles.